between him and Movi Wahab Adam. But if you go to Kumasi, Ahmadiyas stood at Kejetia opposite PZ, 1924, and they stand up to this time. They do opinion and all that. But like you said, it's in governmental levels in this thing, but within the country, it's not. Things are going on which time will not permit me to say that. And also, in 1990, early 1985, Muslims were the first people to, in our city, they were preaching from the Bible and the Quran, preaching from the Bible and the Quran. And I said, God, I'm a Muslim government. I'm a Ghanaian. We have freedom of worship, freedom of speech, and freedom of association. Can't I also, with my knowledge in the Quran and the Bible, also quote and use Quran to gain ascension to some of this thing?
So please, you have to answer questions. This is the time not for another paper, but to make a point quick for him to react to. Yes.
So I have to start.
You can only talk quickly, yes.
Okay, so in short, all what I want to say is that the Muslims, I also went to the radio station, and bought airtime, and I was quoting from the Bible and the Quran. And they call us that the Muslims said they are not happy because I'm quoting from their Quran. And I said, then we are all Ghanaians. If they don't want me to go from their book, then I don't want any Muslim to also to go from my Bible. So from that time, they were quoting from the Quran, and I was quoting from the Bible. And without discussion scripture, you don't have a message. So eventually, the Muslims approach me and say, Ahmed, we can't do that. You use Quran to gain ascension. You don't condemn. So from here, we are all going to use the Bible and the Quran. And Kumar said, for the past 18 years now, Muslims and Christians, we are coexisting. I'm quoting the Quran and the Bible, and they're also quoting and we are coexisting. And so when we talk about how Muslim and Christian can coexist, sometimes this is not it's a holy anger. Not that you are a coward or you are trying to. So not all the time. So if I had said, Muslim would have continued to enjoy the airways without the Christian. But now in Kumasi, there's free and fair, and it has brought peace to the country.
That's this holy anger must come somewhere. I'm very sorry, my brother. What's your name again? Ahmed. Ahmed, have mercy on Ahmad.
Okay, I think two of the questions I want to direct to Dr. Azuma, because he has done a lot of research on Ahmadism. One is the change in attitude. The other is the relation of Ahmadis to saints to Nigeria. If you can address that.
Yeah. Just to quickly say that the change in the Ahmadi attitude and approach to Christianity in Ghana had a dramatic change in 1974 when the head of the Ahmadi community for the first time was a Ghanaian, appointed a Ghanaian as the head of the Ahmadi community in Ghana. Until then, the heads were Pakistanis. So they came with the sub-Indian continent polemical, confrontational approach to Ghana, attacking Christianity, attacking other Muslim sects every day. But as soon as the leadership changed and the Ghanaian was made the first Ghanaian head, these open polemical attacks started drastically reducing, and almost now they have become very, very sensitive and very careful. So it has again to do with the local Ghanaian leadership. I don't know what you want to ask me.
It's very quick. I think that it all started in the 1990s. There was this confrontation in Accra. The churches were burned. There was this in Tamale, the Catholic Church. They removed all their plantations and the rest of it. So when we met in the Christian Council of Ghana with the Ghana Catholic Secretariat, the Christian Council of Ghana, the Ahmadiyya Mission, and the Muslims, we came out with a guiding ethic. The issue was that destroying the drums and the others, it was agreed that the Muslims must help to pay for what they had destroyed. It's a complicated issue because at that time the Catholic Bishop who we had made the devil advocate, the Muslims had shouted that it was a jihad and the boys were unstoppable. They will continue to condemn Christianity because even there are bishops in England who don't believe in the virgin birth and the rest. What have we done to them in that meeting? So the rule was put very clearly. It was said, you Muslims go and get your house in order. You go and tell them to preach Islam but not condemn Christianity. And Christians go and tell the Christian preachers to preach Christianity and not condemn Islam. So we had to call Rockefeller at Atura, and then the Christ for the Muslim Mission, all of them who were Christians and condemning Islam, to the Christian Council of Ghana, and tell them, when we hear you do this, we ensure that you will be arrested, because you are the ones who cause problems, and then also ask the Muslims to go and do the same. So Maulvi Wahab Adam was the one who said clearly that the Muslim view of jihad is not shared by the Ahmadis. They believe in verbal jihad, not attacking Christians. So he was told there, go and tell them that the verbal jihad is that which lays the foundation for the physical jihad. So do not let them condemn. So this memorandum of understanding was written, and like John said, because he was Ghanaian, understood the issue, we from that time have started to tone down. Of course, I know that Ahmed Ajay does things differently, but it has not yet affected the system. Not so much.
Okay.
The other question has to do with Pentecostals. Somebody asked what Pentecostals are doing. And I'm sure my brother Ahmed will agree with me that Pentecostals have completely different approach. Now, I don't know officially what they have, but what happens on the ground is very, very polemic. There's open air crusades which are very aggressive. I think there's lack of understanding of what Islam is and how to approach Islam among Pentecostal churches. And sometimes when you mention Islam, it brings fear, And so Pentecostals do not really have good relation with Muslims. Precisely what our brother is saying, a lot of people, particularly people like me who come from Muslim background, when we become Christians, we think that we can use the Quran to convert people, which for me is a big error. That's my view, if you don't mind. And I believe that relationships is what we should focus on, which Pentecostals don't actually understand. And so, for me, their approach to Islam is completely different from actually the Catholics and the Protestants, precisely because of the way they see Muslims and how they understand Islam. There was another one on the current issues and what contributes to the good relations. That's a very good question. Maybe it's the Ghanaian hospitality, I don't know. We always say Ghana is very hospitable. Maybe that's one factor, but I think also politics play a very important part in the Ghanaian situation. Now in Ghana, if you observe carefully, when it's politics time, they try to get as many Muslims as possible into the leadership, just to actually bring equality. In the Generalist government, there were a lot of Muslims. In Atamil's, Kufuor government, the vice president was a Muslim. This is something they consistently, deliberately done in the past. And even if you look at the cabinet, if you look at the ministerial post, they make sure that they bring in Muslims so that Muslims don't feel discriminated against. And I think all these things somehow help for people to feel part of the country. Like I said, they are in the minority, yet they have equal rights. As Christians, they have equal rights, like African traditional religion. And so there are several factors. These are two things that, yes,